Hey entrepreneur, welcome. This is Mark Newsom, Mr. Marketing, and welcome to this special presentation entitled How to Use Low-Cost, High-Powered Lead Magnets to Create Up to 50% More Long-Term Profits for literally pennies on the dollar. Even if you have tons of major competition and you're smack dab in the middle of a nagging recession, these powerful, low-cost, think outside the box, ninja marketing strategies are going to work wonders for your bottom line. Hang on. Ladies and gentlemen, when you hear or see the following term, what comes to your mind? This term, lead magnet. What do you think about when you hear that? You hear this bandied around on and offline, you hear this term, lead magnet. Well, those of you who have joined my list, you recognize that special free report, do you not? That's a lead magnet. In this case, that's a PDF, an ebook, if you will, and it has information, and it's designed for people who are in a small business and or service, and there's some information in there to help you market your business, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But the point is, that's a lead magnet. What about this? Maybe you have a interview that you did, or someone interviewed you. That could be a lead magnet. In other words, somebody comes to your lead capture page and or squeeze page. That's just a page, if you're not familiar with the online marketing lingo. It just means somebody comes to a particular page, and the only thing that page is designed to do is to get you to put a name and a valid email address. Click the button. You're on the list. You probably get a email asking you if you'd like to confirm, or asking that you confirm, and then you get this information. But here's the point. That podcast or that interview, that's a lead magnet. It's getting your particular market to respond to something they're interested in. In exchange, you start building a highly targeted list. But stop and think about something here, because there's a ton of ideas, but to keep this really focused, but here's just a few for you to think of. Number one, let's suppose you had a series of interviews. In other words, let's say once a month. You get 12, maybe say 11 other entrepreneurs who are experts in other areas of whatever your particular niche is, and you each do a 30, 60, 90-minute interview. The first interview, say in January, you give away free. That's your lead magnet. Everybody who opts in, they get that first interview. In other words, they get a chance to sample. You know how you go in the grocery store sometime and there's these strategic little booths set up, and one of the employees is standing there and they got this little deal that looks like it's a shish kebab, and they're giving you a sample of something. It might be a dessert or whatever it is they got new in the store. Well, why do you think they do that? Exactly. They give you a sample, and they're banking on the fact that a certain percentage of you, if it's meat, you'll head to the deli, or if it's a bakery good, you'll head to the bakery, or whatever. But the point is, they're using that little sample as a lead magnet to create more business. This is no different. So let's suppose what you did was, after they opted in, they sampled that first free podcast recording, and then they could either buy the other 11, or they could opt into a paid membership site, or let's just say you had 4 interviews. They're all 90 minutes. You could give away the first one and again attempt to sell the remaining 3 on the back end, or there's all kind of things you could do. In fact, let's suppose you had 4 separate 90-minute interviews from 4 separate experts. Maybe one on pay-per-click, one on SEO, which is search engine optimization, maybe another one on how to use banner ads, and maybe another one on copywriting. But the real point of this was, you were selling a membership site, and let's say the membership site has a $97 a month subscription fee. It could be $27, $47. It doesn't matter. But here's the point: you could give away all of these bonus interviews. Let's say if you're an affiliate, you give away all these bonus interviews to anybody that buys under your link. You see how that might work? Now, what about this? How many of you have attended a webinar recently, right? This could be recorded. Maybe it's on a subject that everybody's interested in, like Facebook advertising is really hot right now. SEO is always really, really popular. copywriting absolutely positively never goes out of style. It could be on any subject. And again, because I'm in the information marketing consulting business, I don't want you to think, oh yeah, well, Mark, this works for what you do, it won't work for what I do. Oh, absolutely it will. What if you're a real estate agent, you specialize in foreclosure properties, you know the ins and outs. You don't think somebody who's just starting out, that's trying to get into investing property, would not to like to know in a free 90-minute webinar the 7 deadly signs of investing in real estate and how to spot them and avoid them? Of course they would. You don't think that somebody who's trying to buy a house for the first time wouldn't be interested in a free webinar and or teleseminar that said 5 ways to make sure you're more credit worthy before you get rejected for a loan? Now stop and think about that. Of course they would. So the point is, information, ladies and gentlemen, is information. It doesn't matter. But my point is, this is kind of traditional lead magnets. Now I want to adjust your thinking here for just a second. Let's suppose that you own a nice plush family restaurant in your town, and there's several others, but that's your restaurant there. Look at that. That's a nice looking place, isn't it? Now, I want to ask you a question. Take a look at this. Ladies, would that bracelet look good on your arm? And gentlemen, would that bracelet look good on a significant other in your life's arm? Or what about this? Would that necklace do you good, ladies? Gentlemen, would that necklace impress the significant other in your life? Or what about that? Look at these earrings. You think your ears are going to say no to that? Now, what do all of these 3 things in your upscale restaurant have to do with each other? You're going to find out, so hang on. Now, let's talk about traditional paid advertising methods versus powerful non-traditional, think outside the box lead magnets. Now, follow this train of thought. Let's suppose you recently sat in on a free teleseminar, and at the end the speaker just suggested, look, what you got to do is start using banner ads. Because of the recession, banner ad pricing has come down so low, it's so dirt cheap. You just can't go wrong, and they've got this network they want you to get into, and they got this whole spiel, and they're telling you what you need to do online is banner ads. And you're like, wow, okay, banner ads, that sounds good. Now you attend another workshop, and this particular expert, this lady, she knows all about display ads, how to write them. She even actually has a free course that she'll give you if you buy her course, where she shows you how to copyright. She's got testimonials from here to there. She's got people that are making a killing with display ads on or offline. She can show you how to put them in offline publications. She's got this directory and a pipeline and a network, and on and on and on and on and on. Now this third expert you listen to, guess what? They do pay-per-click ads. And they tell you, look, the fastest way to get traffic to your site without knowing SEO and waiting for Google and all these other people to recognize your site, use pay-per-click. And you're leveraging the fact that your ads will be right next to the organic, or what we call free listings, but you'll just pay so much every time somebody clicks. And we know how to maximize those clicks, so you eventually pay less and you get more traffic, and you listen to that and you go, okay, wow, yeah, maybe I should be doing pay-per-click. Now take a look at this. This is Mr. Marketing's approach, one of them. Now what do these really nice looking earrings have to do with these things up here? Well, I got a question for you, ladies and gentlemen. Now think about this. If you own a house that isn't paid for, meaning you're paying a mortgage, or if you rent, or if you're leasing a building for your business, or if you have a cell phone, what happens when you stop making those payments? That's right. Doesn't matter how long you've been a valued customer, you don't make that cell phone payment. Now granted, if you're an excellent customer, they'll give you a little time to work it out, for sure. What prudent business person wouldn't do that? But you're not going to go 6 months without making that payment. You're not going to go 6 months without making your mortgage payment, and you're not going to live somewhere 6 months without paying the landlord. Now, maybe a relative will let you stay with them for 6 months, but somebody's going to pay that landlord. So here's the point. When your paid advertising source, when you stop paying for it, your ads stop. Period. You're done. Now, let's go back to the restaurant here for a minute, because I want to make something crystal clear. I want to show you something really, really powerful. Now, think about this. You got 4 or 5 restaurants within a 4-mile radius. They're all nice. They all have excellent food, excellent customer service, the wines and the champagnes and the desserts are to kill for. But there's a recession going on. So your competitors and you are slowly scaling back on your paid advertising. Makes sense. But now watch this. You go into your favorite restaurant on this particular night. Let's suppose you and your significant other, are celebrating either your engagement, recent engagement, and or a marriage, a wedding anniversary, So you sit down, they sit you down, and the waiter or the waitress walks over, and you give your order, and before they leave, the waitress reaches in her pocket, and let's say your order came up to $90. Waitress reaches in her pocket. She says, "Sir, oh, by the way," and she points out something on the menu and says, "With anything you order over here," and they open a box, and ladies, it's got this pair of earrings right here, and they say, "With your order," meaning, in other words, they want you to spend a little bit more money, "you get these free earrings as our complimentary gift," and they leave them on the table and walk away. Now, ladies, think about it. That gentleman sitting across from that table has got a lot of pressure on him. Would you not agree? Number one, he can't look like a putz in front of you, or that waitress, or if it's the waiter. He could put an even bigger smile on your face for spending an extra $40, $50. Now, learn a point here. You don't try to slam dunk somebody. If they're spending $75, you don't try to bump them to $200. If they're spending $500, you don't try to bump them to $3,000. Point is, it's a gradual, slight uptick. And they're already ordering anyway. And what you're pointing out is, hey, just by ordering something on this special page, it might be the appetizer, a more expensive champagne, whatever, this lady's going to get these earrings. This is what we call situational marketing. This is incredibly powerful. Now let's take this another way so you can see this and see how powerful this is. Think about this. And again, remember, we mean situation in the case of A. This is a husband and wife, and they've already ordered. Now think about this. Suppose a gentleman walks into a men's clothing store, and he's got a lady with him, and he's wearing his wedding ring. Now you quickly establish, is that A, his daughter, his sister, his wife, his girlfriend, whatever the case may be. But let's assume it's either his wife or his girlfriend, in other words, his significant other. Here's what you do. Now, if he's got a wedding band on, we're assuming he didn't come in there with his girlfriend, right? We're saying that it's his wife. But I'm saying if he comes in with a woman, try to figure out what the relationship is. Is this your wife? If this is his girlfriend or his wife, here's what you do. Let's suppose he's decided on the slacks and the shirt, or the shirt and the blazer. What you come back with is, well, sir, if you just add this order of pants, something, either it's the pants or the shirt or the blazer, you whip out that box again and you almost force the lady to take it. She opens it up, and there are those earrings. She gets this with your order. Or it might be a coupon to go to a florist, and your first order is 50% off, because that florist is trying to get a new customer that they can sell them on their anniversary package, which means they'll deliver flowers for her birthday, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, etc. So that florist quickly will understand why they should be doing business with that clothing store in that particular case, or that restaurant. Now, here's the point, and here's what I'm trying to get to. Let's go back to the restaurant for a moment. When all is said and done, and let's say the gentleman, in 90-95% of the cases, they're going to upsell to that higher price meal to impress this lady, their wife or whoever this person is to them. When that lady goes back to her job Monday morning, or if she owns her own business when she opens up Monday morning, what's going to be the topic of discussion around the water cooler? You got that right. Where did she get those drop dead gorgeous earrings? Now here's the point. Everywhere she goes from now on, whether it's a social event, she's with friends and family, somebody's going to want to know where she get those earrings. So when she says Jobert's restaurant, what are these women going to go home and demand to that couch potato that's sitting there watching some sporting event? We're going to Jobert's, because they're going to get some of those earrings or some nice free goodie that they're giving away. You got that right. Now here's the point. All four of these businesses had to cut back on advertising because of the recession. But whose advertising is paying off? Or in this case, it's not advertising, it's more like marketing. Whose marketing is paying a much longer residual dividend? You got that right. You see how powerful this could be? So in other words, rather than spending money on a traditional ad, why don't you think outside the box a little bit, entrepreneur, and figure out how to market your business, product, or service? Now let's take this a step further. If you're the jeweler, why couldn't you approach the restaurant, the female boutique store, or the gentleman's clothing store with this same exact offer? In other words, you'll supply these goodies. Now let's take this one step further. I want to show you two other powerful scenarios for you. Think about a woman's hairdresser. Now this will work for gentlemen too, but I'm using this women for a specific reason. Let's say you go in and you get your hair done. I'm talking about as a jeweler now. You own a jewelry store. So you pick out a nice upscale hair salon. You go in there and get your hair done. If you don't already have, someone that does your hair regularly, you're trying to set some rapport. Now after you get to know the owner, now we're talking about you as the retail store owner of the jeweler, making a direct personal relationship with the owner of that hair salon. Now after you establish some rapport, they know what you do. You say, hey, I got a proposition for you. There's probably a good chance that there are people in here, these women, your customers, who will probably like to get what we have too, and we're both non-competing. Here's what I'll do. You let them pick out any jewelry they want. A bracelet, a necklace, earrings, whatever. You give it to them free. Now guess what's going to happen while they're doing hair? You got that right. Madge, Margaret, whatever her name is, where did you get that drop dead gorgeous necklace? Oh, I got this compliments of such and such and such and such jewelry. What? Madge reaches over, hands this little card, and it says, because you are a valued customer of whatever the name of her salon is, please accept this first time only customer discount of X% off on your next X number of purchases. Did you follow that? You just created a repeat customer for literally pennies on the dollar. And here's what you're really trying to do. You're trying to find the people in that hair salon who have the most social clout, because you want to give them a really nice deal on something, so when they go back to their circle of influence, what if they happen to be a female executive? You cut the same arrangement with her that you did with the jeweler, or I'm sorry, with the hairdresser. You give them a really good discount on everything they purchase, and some stuff on their birthday you just give it to them for free, because they're bringing you a ton of free business. Now ladies and gentlemen, does that make more sense than paying for this nice display ad here, this banner ad, or this pay-per-click ad campaign? Because remember, when you stop paying for them, they stop. Can you see how this particular strategy will continue to work for you? I hope you do. Now let's take this one step further. Let me ask you a question. How often do you think the average cab driver in your town makes money when they're not driving a cab? Yeah, exactly. So why don't you do this? Why don't you go down there, call up the cab company, and get a hold of the owner and ask if you could come down and see them, because you have a way to help their drivers make more money, especially during a recession, and it won't cost the cab driver, or the owner of the company, any money. So you get their permission, you come down. The first thing you do is say, just for letting me come down and talk to your people, come down and bring some jewelry and let them pick out whatever they want and either give it to them free or half price. But here's the point. You create some cards, and what you do is the cab driver, it'll have their name on the back, which means that'll be their ID. And it'll say, because you were a valued customer, whatever the cab company is, please accept this free gift from whatever the name of your jewelry store is. And you give them either a discount on their first purchase or so much off on their next few purchases. And here's who you give it to. Here's who you tell them who to give it to specifically. Whenever they go to pick up an upscale fare, in other words, they go up in a nice side of town, that man or woman or that couple, that's who they give this to, not the average person they pick up. Now think about this. Now there's a good chance 80% of the cab drivers that attempt to do this won't do very well. But it's that 20%, 80-20 rule. It's going to explode your business, entrepreneur. Stop and think about it. And then what you tell them is, hey, you don't have to just pass these out while you're driving cab. Take them with you, and whenever you're out socializing, if you meet somebody who's driving a nice car or they already have some nice jewelry, give them our card. Now, what's in it for the cab driver? We'll give you 10% of the purchase, either in gas cards or cash, or credit off so much for some jewelry. Now think about it. If they're bringing you $5,000 worth of business a month, and you give them $500 in gas cards, now they're not paying for their gas anymore. See how powerful this could be? And more importantly, none of your major competitors are doing it. That's what makes it so potentially profitable. So ladies and gentlemen, just to sum it up, if you're serious about discovering 3 more extremely brain dead simple ways to add an additional 25% more gross profit to your bottom line, entrepreneur, in the next 90 days or less, without adding any new customers or clients, then you need to get over to youcanmarketonlinenow.com/sales. Download that powerful free 9-page special report that was created and is designed specifically for small business owners and or service providers. In other words, entrepreneurs. This is Mark Newsom, Mr. Marketing. We'll see you next time on the Marketing Minute.